My name is Rushana Hartnick, and I'd like to welcome you all this morning on behalf of the Stellenbosch Business School marketing team, on behalf of the social impact team, and of course on behalf of my beloved Alumni Association. I'm sure you all felt the energy outside. I was able to chat to quite a few ladies, and I can tell that this is a Women's Day event. You know why? Everyone arrived early. Everyone was chatting when they had their drinks in their hands. And even before we needed to be in the room, guess what? Everyone was seated. So give yourselves a hand. We are very privileged because I think we have some distinguished leaders here today. And I'm not just talking about the ones that are sitting in the crowd or in the audience today. I'm talking about these incredible women that are forces within their industries. We're going to start off with Tracey-Lee Zürcher-Campbell is the head of marketing at Payflex. And she's had such a long journey to get to where she is. And she's going to tell us all about that a bit later. And I'm sure you've all read the bios and you all know that the theme is about resilience. Yeah? So these ladies are going to share about how they have really worked on that skill over the years. We also have Dr. Patience Mbava, who is the Commissioner of Finance and Fiscal Commission in South Africa, and she has really spearheaded this organization, and she's going to tell us all about how she entered it, what it's been like. It's a very male-dominated industry. She's going to talk about economic development. She's also going to tell us about her time in the oil industry. I mean, look at this lady, a force, right? Then, of course, a very good friend of mine, high school friend, business owner, entrepreneur, spearheading the beauty industry, not just in Mitchell's Plain and Cape Town and South Africa, but the other day I saw that she's just gone international. So can we put our hands together for these incredible ladies? I'm gonna have a seat because I feel like we've done the formalities and we're gonna have a good time today. I want you all to sit back and I want you to relax. I want you to think as though you have got 3 older sisters on the stage here today, and they are going to share with you what resilience actually means. I brought a piece of paper because I want to make sure that we don't miss really important points today. And I'm going to start with Tracy. Tracey-Lee, tell us how you entered the fintech space. And also make sure that you add how you've had to adapt to its rapid evolution over the years.
Hi everybody, it's really nice to be able to sit in a room in front of all of you, and it's amazing to see so many people in person. When I was doing my MBA here a few years ago, we had, I think, managed by you head at the back there, we had maybe 6 or 7 people in the classroom, and I think this is the most people I've ever seen besides a block week where everybody was forced to attend in person. So thanks for being here. So I'll tell you a little bit of the backstory, and it's more in line with the idea of resilience. So, you know, back in the day when I was at school, I was one of those kids that, we're probably all a little bit like this, where we didn't have to work terribly hard, and we kind of got decent marks, got into university, no problem, and then ambled into your first job, second job, and kind of things were taking over. They were going quite well, it looked very good, and then COVID hit. And I was retrenched. And I don't know if anybody else in the audience has been retrenched, but no matter what, no matter how much you blame it on COVID, it feels terrible. It really feels like a huge knock on your confidence. It makes you feel like you weren't good enough to save. No matter that there was a global pandemic, you still feel that way. And I think while I had 6 months that I was unemployed, and I'm incredibly grateful to a handful of ladies who I'd worked with in the past. A previous MD and a previous line manager of mine, they heard via the grapevine in the first 2 or 3 days that I would be shortly back on the market, and they immediately contacted me and asked if I could freelance for them. I was very grateful to them for that, and it kept me taking over, and I was able to invest my severance. So I managed to get away without touching that severance and just freelancing and eating salty cracks for a few months. And then I got a break. So the job market in South Africa, as everybody knows, it's really tough. But I managed to leverage one of the projects I'd worked on in the past a little bit, and it became quite a desirable thing for people to know. It was CRM related, and I didn't realize how important it was. And I was employed by Philip Morris, and this is also a difficult thing because there's an ethical question behind what kind of work you do, and you have to kind of battle through this. Like, am I going to work for a tobacco company, a massive multinational company, and my mother is a smoker, so what does that say about me? But at the end of the day, I chose only to work in the reduced risk portfolio, and in that way I managed to justify it so that I could eat more than just salty cracks at the end of the month. And it was great. I learned an incredible amount at Philip Morris, and then I was approached, and I got this job at Payflex. And just kind of talking about into the second part of your question. So, what was interesting about Payflex is that you still can everybody put up their hands if they've heard of Payflex? Oh yeah, woo, great marketing. I'm kidding. But so a lot, at the end of the day, fine, it's a buy now, pay later. We are a debt provider. Again, there's an ethical question behind debt, but we can talk about that a little bit later and how I kind of got my head around that. With this, ultimately you are offering a product to a customer, and what you want them to do is you want them to spend as much as possible with you, as often as possible, so that your business can survive. So whether you're selling, I don't know, if you're selling reduced risk tobacco products only, or if you're selling a transaction, whatever it is, you want people to continue to use the product over and over and become loyal to the product, and therefore the customer lifetime value increases. So I don't know, for the marketers in the room, that's what customer lifetime value is very much based on frequency of use. And that's how I kind of was able to transition from FMCG and previously from very specialized investment into fintech, because ultimately you're dealing with customers and you're dealing with the desire to use something over and over again. It's really the same thing. And I think the difficulties in transitioning is, before, I mean, we could say, I represent the customer. I'm putting my feet in the shoes of the customer, and therefore everything I say is true and gold, and you know nothing the rest of the business, so I'm in charge here. But it doesn't work like that at a fintech. At a fintech, devs are in charge. That's it. So no matter how much you try and use your customer angle and try and explain a business case of how usage will increase, blah blah. At the end of the day, it's dev capacity, and that's it. They choose. So it really is trying to get a different body of employee with a totally different mindset, different priorities, different criteria over the line, almost emotionally, to see the value in what you're trying to get them to do. And I think that was probably the more difficult thing, being also a very male-dominated industry. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Payflex is in no way, I really have never felt any sense of prejudice, but I think your own mind tricks you a little bit, but we can talk about that later.
Thank you. I don't know, everyone understands the business model of Payflex, right? So it's buy now, pay later. Now, the way I grew up, we always had Payflex. It was an auntie around the road, right? It was a lady my mommy worked with, and so she could buy things for us, and then on the 15th of the month, because she was a nurse, she could pay it off, right? And by the time she paid it, the school shoes were foul, and the jersey was torn, but that was more based on trust, right? But what I think Payflex actually also does is that it creates a bit of inclusion. It creates access for people like me and you to be able to purchase the things that was always aspirational, or it was a bit far-fetched, or it was something you liked and it's been in your cart for the longest time. And then, wait a minute, there's a Payflex sign, purchase! course, right? And so talking about inclusion, I'd like to know from Dr. Mbava how economic policy promotes equity and inclusion.
Maybe just to contextualize where I'm from the Financial and Fiscal Commission. You've introduced it very well. We are a constitutional institution. So what we do at the FFC, which many people don't even know about it, by the way, but I'll talk about that. We look at the budget process and we advise government, on equitable division of revenue. So what happens is that we have to divide the budget at a local level, municipal level, national level. So all the taxes that we receive as a country, it goes into a kitty, the National Revenue Fund, and then we have to allocate to all the provinces. So the FFC then must make sure there is equity, because you remember that throughout the country, we have different developmental, trajectories in the country. So we need to make sure that where there's poverty, we have more money there. So as FFC then, our role is to look at the budget to say, is this budget equitable? And one of the key ways we've done that is to look at what we called gender responsive budgeting, where we say, if we allocate a budget to health, how far will this budget actually address the issues of women? If we allocate budget to education, to what extent is this money going to address the needs of young girls? If we allocate money to education, how far is this going to address ECD, early childhood education, all these things? So we have to interrogate the budget to the T to make sure that it is equitable, because it's our role. So my role then as the chairperson of the commission is to lead that analysis, to actually go to Parliament, and then the Department of Basic Education will table its budget, and then they will call us as the FFC to say, come FFC, look at this budget, tell us, is it equitable? And then the health budget as well, they will table their plans, and then the FFC, which is my institution, will come in. So issues of inclusion in the budget are very, very important. And I've come to that space where I am required to lead responsibly, because it's about the legacy that we are leaving to our children. So the budget is quite important as a tool of inclusion.
I am suddenly so grateful that we have a female chairperson. Can we give this lady a hand? I come from the sector of basic education, foundation phase teaching, and I have a swim school where I teach little kids to swim. And I suddenly feel as though I have got someone at the table, that can make sure that voices like ours are heard. And for that, I'm really grateful. Thank you. I appreciate that. I want to include Nuraan because a budget won't be a budget if we don't have entrepreneurs, if we don't create the money for that budget, right? And so I think it's important that we bring you into the conversation and you can actually tell us what gave birth to this idea of Halo Organics, and tell us about the journey to becoming the brand.
Okay. Hi. Oh, my mic is on. Thanks, Breen. Okay, to everybody that doesn't know me, my name is Nuraan Devajee, and I come from Strandfontein area. And yes, I've been Rushana's friend since school, so yeah, we know each other very well. I just want to say thank you so much for coming today and listening and giving small business owners a hearing. We don't often get that chance to speak to on a platform like this. And what, friend?
Sit in a green chair.
Oh, it's sitting in a green chair. I thought you said I'm going to sit right in my chair. Listen, this is not me. This is not me. Yeah, I'm going to be me, and yeah. Okay, so I basically want to just give you a little bit more insight on where I come from. So I come from the beauty industry for over 15 years. I've got a lot of experience with products, customer service, on how the consumer behaves, when she purchases a product, what is it that she's looking for. So basically my whole life I spent solving problems, whether it be acne, whether it be listening to your husband not picking up his laundry or whatever. And yeah, you know, and my job was basically being that person. I gained so much knowledge from women throughout the years just by being that consultant and just giving someone a hearing every day of my life, even though I solved issues with skin. And I think the main thing for me was, it gets a bit emotional because it's so much that people, women, tend to open up to you. Sorry. Yo, guys. I'm getting emotional because I've made over billions and millions for companies that you all know. And the industry of beauty, it's so overwhelming. And with what I see today is so much people are just buying products left, right, and center just because they want to feel good about themselves. And sorry. I mean, anybody can sell anything, but it takes a really good salesperson to actually tap into someone's emotional needs, yes, and flip that whole thing around into a 20,000 Rand sale. And for me, that was ultimately my job. Even though you sat in my chair, I needed to get that target. I needed to get that money out of you. And I sold products that is valued at 25,000 Rand a jar. So how I did that was basically getting into you, getting into your heart, getting into your, how can I say, your insecurities, basically. And throughout the years, like, I've always wanted to climb the corporate ladder. And I think bigger companies, I'm not going to mention the companies that I worked for, but we were trained not only on product development, on you know, how the product is actually going to work for you, but they also trained us how to sell, how to actually, like, they forced us basically, you need to do this, the customer needs that in order to get that. Do you know what I mean? And sorry, I'm going to speak a bit long. Because, yeah, I'm speaking to actual women here. I mean, everybody owns a skincare product. Everybody has a hair product. I don't know how many products you use on a daily basis. If anybody can tell me that, maybe I can give you some kind of a discount or something. Can anybody tell me how many products does a lady use, or a woman? Just like how many products, like, on a daily do you use? 7?
5.
6? Anybody else? It's actually 13. So if you think about it, you're actually using 13 products every day just to get yourself walking out and coming here to this event. So 13 products times that by 250 Rand or whatever. Yeah, it's crazy. And the beauty industry is one of the fastest growing industry at the moment, besides real estate and all that drama. And I think, like, with social media and everything today, it's really overwhelming, like with all these brands popping up, and, you know, you're getting this every day, there's something new that they teach you you need this serum to actually now be this person or look like this and that. Anyway, so back to how Halo Organics was born. Yeah, I didn't climb the corporate ladder within my industry because my company, I was so good at what I did, they kept me just there, which was sales, and sales. I was good at that. And eventually I just broke away. I left my job. I started worked in an events company. I left Cape Town, and I really just ventured out and, you know, tried to do something different. then again, I fell back into the beauty industry, but I was more in a senior role, so I was more like operations and that sort of a thing. And I worked with a lot of companies, local brands like made in South Africa. And I basically, I started the SBA program with Rushana here at Stellenbosch University. And I always wanted to have my own beauty bus because I'm a makeup artist as well, and I do hair and all of that. So I always wanted my own beauty bus. And I always wanted to travel everywhere and do weddings, and that was my goal. I wanted to help like girls at nails, special events, and that I just wanted to have this bus that goes everywhere around Cape Town and just make people beautiful, you know what I mean? That didn't work out for me. Anyway, I did some research in terms of product development and so forth and formulating. I did a online course from India, and it took me quite some time, and then I actually developed my first product. I didn't know I was going to sell it. I just gave it to like a bunch of friends, try it, see what happens, you know, are you enjoying it? And it solved a lot of issues for me because it's part of my heritage, basically. I created this oil that basically you can use on your head, your skin, and on your babies also. So it helps like with dry skin, eczema, psoriasis, pigmentation and so on. I just wanted to make a product that can help for everything. One product, I just wanted to take that thing and be like, I just need this, you know? And yeah, Halo Organics was born. The name just came from something. Oh my God. Yeah, Halo is actually a made-up word. It's actually a Polish surname. Anyway, yeah. So yeah. But so yeah.
Now you can tell why this is my friend, right?
Yeah.
Because and if I need a hype girl, this is the person I call, right? But I wanna really go back to what Nuraan represents, right? And so this brand of hers, yes, the name could be Polish, but she has used that name in so many ways. Like, she will message me, and instead of saying hello, she would say hello. And if she agrees with something, then she'll just go hello. And so now I hear it's Polish. But what I really wanted to get to is she really speaks about confidence. She speaks about being original or being authentic and being real, right? And that is what all women want. I don't know about you. I don't want to hide behind a mask. I don't want to pretend that I'm something or someone that I'm not. And I feel like that is definitely something that she represents here. So can we give her a hand, please? I want to jump straight into innovation, right? And I feel like if we look on the stage here, these ladies are really driving exactly that. And so I want to ask Tracy to just discuss Payflex's role in transforming digital payments. And while you do that, also highlight marketing's influence, because I know this is something you light up when we talk about user experience and trust and all those things. So please highlight that too.
Cool. So I think innovation can be a blessing and a curse. And I think I'll talk a little bit about this in my experience in the fintech world. Everybody is talking about innovation. And I think what happens is we become bewitched by the idea of innovation, and we try and do everything, and we leave our bread and butter business a little bit behind. So my affiliation, besides being an alumnus at SBS, I'm the chair of the consulting club, the SBS Consulting Club, and you know we do all of these workshops and sessions with management consultants to try and understand, you know, if we wanted to be consultants ourselves, or if we wanted to offer a consulting opinion within our own business, what are the types of things that real world management consultants would do? And the one thing we hear over and over again is do dull well. And I think we need to keep that in mind in our business. Of course we have to innovate, of course we have to move with the times. But if we lose sight of what the core business is all about, and then everything kind of falls to pieces. So I've seen this a few times where we've pursued a path of new product development, and all of a sudden we grew too quickly, and then the system breaks, and then the customers aren't happy, and change the call center, and it just becomes a little bit of a disaster. So I would say at least 60 to 70% of your time and energy and resources and money needs to at least be dedicated for the most part to the core business. However, innovation really is key. Fintech, especially Cape Town fintech, it is very fast moving. And of course, everybody is under NDA, nobody can talk about what's going on, but everybody kind of knows what's going on. And if you're not listening to what your customers want and need, then you will miss the boat, because there's somebody else out there that is innovating more quickly, and they have a better idea of what the customer wants than you do. So it's very important to constantly get the customer feedback. So in Payflex, we do this at least twice a year, so we do for all the statisticians out there. We do quant and qual feedback, where we assess the what is going to make our customers use our product more often and be sticky and loyal. So, obviously we have those who may not be named, our competitors in the industry, but we need to understand what benefit are they getting from using the competitor products, or what's on the horizon there, and make sure that we are at least offering the same, if not better, to ensure that our customers are sticky, because it's obviously much, much cheaper to retain a customer than to generate a new one. And once you have pissed somebody off, they're never coming back. So, and I think, and that's really, really true for the fintech space. I think in terms of innovation I'll talk a little bit about the Payflex world. We, our bread and butter, our core business is the buy now, pay later. So I just wanted to touch on one of the points that came up earlier. Everybody, or at least we think it's about 64% of people who they're aware of the category, but they proclaim not to understand the category fully. They think, what is this? How can you lend us money for free, interest free? It's a scam. How are you paying for this? So I will tell you, just to demystify that concept of buy now, pay later. The merchants pay us a slightly higher transaction fee. So for example, if you're on Take-A-Lot obviously charges a fee. The processor charges a fee. So, whichever gateway you make your payment through. But if you pay it through Payflex, we charge a slightly higher fee because we're carrying the book. We're funding those purchases, and we're not getting interest from you. So we have to make sure that we're getting money somewhere. We're not a breakage business. We don't want customers not to pay back. So it's important that we vet the customers. We make sure that they're capable of paying everything back. Because if we become a breakage business and people don't pay us back, they can't use the product anymore, and therefore we would have no customers. But what we have seen, so it's our 7-year birthday, the 7-year itch. You'll see the campaign if you're a follower of Payflex. It starts today. So they're scratch and win, scratch the itch. Oh, anyway. So, but we've been around for 7 years, and what we've noticed, so we rely heavily on partnerships. And the business grew because we were able to deliver and offer a product that worked incredibly well. It became very trusted very quickly, and it's now available on almost every online or e-com site, and also in physical stores. You'll see Payflex is also available as a payment option through the POS system, or you'll see this QR code static system. So what we noticed is when the business was growing, customers became aware of us at a checkout. So they'd already made the decision to purchase, but then they were like, oh, okay, cool, what's this thing? We'll try it out. We'll check out using this thing and see if it works and see if it's really true that there's no interest, But we find what we want to do, so talking about the customer experience journey, for merchants and for us, we want to disrupt the decision-making process. If you walk into Country Road and you see a lovely winter coat for 5,000-6,000 rand, it's a difficult, no matter how much money you've got, it's a difficult decision to just drop 5K or 6K cash, or finance it on a credit card. But if you know if you can pay this off in three or four installments, interest-free, very much more easy decision to make that purchase. So as customers started to see it on product display pages and in a store environment where they're making the decision to buy or not, that's how we built a customer base that is very loyal and they trust us. And now what's happened 7 years later is the journey has flipped on its head. customers aren't necessarily going to the merchant and choosing to check out with Payflex. They're coming to Payflex looking for merchants that offer Payflex, and they exit from there to a site to make the purchase. So, I mean, it's really a beautiful story of how, we've innovated that customer journey. I mean, I can't take credit for this. I've only been there for two years. So, but I mean, I've seen the growth, and I've seen how it's changed. We've innovated in doing that and offering the directories and offering this an exciting customer experience where they can see what is possible, the life they could possibly live. How they can, we call it identity-led goods. So how people can signal that their identity, who they are right now, without having this pinch of having to spend a whole lot of money up front. If it's skincare goods, this is a great example. Skincare is very expensive, but people, they feel their emotional needs are that they want to feel beautiful, they want to feel special, and they can do that with a product like this. So in terms of innovation, and then also we're able to, we know based on what you're buying, we can see what you're buying, we can see who you're spending, we can go, cool, well, we know that you have a 72% propensity to spend at this shop. Did you know that you can also spend at this shop? Like, we know our customers so well, and that offers real innovation. And of course we offer, new products. That's boring. That's the product team. Marketing is where it lives.
Sorry, I just. It's Nuraan. It's not me. I had to ask Nuraan, are you there? But Takealot is.
Today she'll be there.
Yes, Takealot.
So Takealot is. So if I buy my products, my Halo Organics products from Takealot, then I can still get it on Payflex. Yes. Do you get it? So I think that is quite innovative. I've been watching the whole model, and because I just feel like it's kind of evolved from my mommy buying it from the nurse at work, right? And so I have noticed how Payflex have kind of flipped it onto the customers and shown us a bit more and said, come this way, try this, guess what, we've got that, right? And I think it's really smart, and I think that is definitely the way going forward, that smaller businesses or products that might have been unknown for people for a long time can now be exposed to a larger market. So I think that is very cool. I wanted to ask Dr. Mbava to just share with us what it's been like shaping fiscal policy and its impact on national development.
No, thanks so much for that, Roshan. When I was reflecting on that particular question, because it was part of the brief, I was reminded about budget 2025, how the budget process that we've just came out from was very contentious. You remember that we actually tabled the budget 3 times. The first tabling was in February, it failed. Secondly, it was in May, it failed again. And then finally we had a proper sitting of the budget. We just got a real budget now, 1st of August as a country. Right now, the money that we've been spending as a country was like money that was from the previous years, So budget 2025, because it's a new, how would I say it? It's a new democratic era in the sense that we had the GNU. So the GNU came in, they upset the apple cart. So the way things were done in the past, it was almost like almost a foregone conclusion. You just go there, do this and that, then it's done. But the budget process this year was different. It was challenged from the word go in terms of the VAT issue, which was very, very contentious. Everybody was just, up against it, obviously. And then also, as the FFC, we noted that in terms of the procedural aspects of it, there were consultations which, before the Minister of Finance tables the budget, he must consult the FFC. So in the previous years, that consultation could take different forms. It could be like a tick box exercise. Well, we've consulted you. But under my watch, I said, no, we will be consulted according to the Constitution. The Constitution says you will consult us in person. You will come and sit with us as a commission and consult us and tell us what are your proposals for the budget. So the mere fact that there was a vet, we were not aware of it as FFC because we were not consulted in the first iteration, right, of the budget. So when we were consulted now, we were able to see what exactly does the fiscal framework look like. So what is a fiscal framework? Basically to say that for the next 3 years, this is how government is going to get money from taxes, from borrowings and all that. But it's a framework that you propose to Parliament. So what I'm trying to say here is that I felt that I have a responsibility as a chairperson of a constitutional institution to speak up, to say, no, we were not consulted as the FFC. The commission was not consulted, and therefore this budget process can be irregular because it's not in line with the Constitution. And then we got advocacy, the headlines were there, Business Day. All the headlines, constitutional body says is not consulted, And we felt, wow, I felt that, wow, if you actually speak up, you have advocacy out there. People who actually support what you're trying to say. We have other people who support your voice. And then the budget process then, in our view, became more authentic and more in line with the constitutional principles. When we met with the Minister of Finance, we were consulted for the first time in decades at the FFC. It was, the consultation aspect was, for all intents and purposes, in paper only. But I just felt that under my leadership, I will not rubber stamp things that do not really exist. I will be authentic, I will lead authentically, and actually demand an authentic consultation. And so when the minister walked to the FFC, it was a big moment for me. When I sat with him and his delegation and my delegation, and we were consulted on what it is that he wants to propose. So what is the lesson here for me? The lesson here is that I have a responsibility as a leader. I have fiscal responsibility as a leader to ensure the interests of South Africans are taken into account. I have a responsibility to ensure that an authentic process under my watch, takes place. So for me, I felt that I am bringing into the institution something that was just, fine, whether it's done or not. But realistically, if you don't fulfill your mandate, you are abdicating your power, your authority. Because my power, when the president appointed me, he expects that as the chairperson of the FFC, I will live up to the constitutional mandate. I will ensure that the budget process under my watch is going to be authentic, because remember, I'm only there for a certain time period. Once I'm gone and my commission is no longer there, it's going to be our legacy to say, under Mbava's leadership, who was a woman, things collapsed, things didn't go right. So I have a responsibility then, So what I'm trying to say is that it's important that when you as a leader and you make this decision, it's not just about you. It's about the people that you serve, and also about your legacy, and also those who look up to you. So for me, when I moved into this role, when I was appointed, I was just a researcher, by the way, just to contextualize where I come from. I'm a product of the business school, So at the business school, when I was here, I was just sorry, I forgot your name again. Nuraan. I was very ambitious. I wanted to climb the corporate ladder. And the MBA for me was it. It was the one ticket that will make me get there, So I worked for these oil companies, and they paid for my MBA, by the way. You know, there was Cynthia here. She knows, she used to get the statements from the business school. They paid for my studies because I was actually ambitious and I really wanted that MBA next to my name. And I got it. And in the oil companies, I did very well. I can tell you all you have to know about service station profitability. How do you measure service station profitability? The whole idea of actually getting quality service restaurants, like getting partners through KFC, getting even Woolworths coming to the forecourt. It was an idea at the time that we were part of, to say, you know what, fuel is no longer the one that's going to bring money into the garage. It's not making money at all, actually, because you have to actually churn in a lot of volumes of fuel. So these partnerships, then they work. So I worked there for a while. I did a great job there, but I got to a point when I was at Sasol, and then I realized, you know what, and I look at the Sasol share price and everything, and I realized that what am I working for? I'm actually working towards creating shareholder value. And it was not really what I wanted anymore. It was not in line with my values. I felt like I wanted something more. I wanted to give back to the community where I come from. I wanted to have more inclusivity, because shareholder value is about just enriching the rich. It's about you having shares, and then I am working at Sasol, and I'm busy, making sure that those sites are profitable. It's about creating value for you as a shareholder, not for the country. And then I realized, you know what, I need something that is more meaningful for me. So I quit. And then I went into the public service. But when I got into the public service, it was all chaotic in many of these issues, because at the time, in the public service, they were trying to create what they call finding impact analysis, finding what it means, because government does all these programs, but at the end of the day, what is the impact? But there was no analysis or knowledge about how to go about doing impact evaluation. That's when I came in, because I was just doing the same thing I was doing at Caltex, but we used to call it the monitoring and evaluation. Monitoring, you're just monitoring performance. So this evaluation aspect, that capacity or knowledge was not in the public domain. It was done by these international organizations. So I said, no, I want to learn about this. What is this evaluation? Because we pay so much money as government for companies to come in and do evaluation. That's when I got sucked in. Then I ended up doing a PhD, and then I ended up coming back to Stellenbosch through the School of Public Leadership. And Babette worked with me to actually get my PhD, understanding, bringing in new knowledge and new insights. And I was like, wow, this university has walked with me on this path. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is that sometimes when you move on to different things, it opens new avenues and new doors entirely,
I feel every time this lady opens her mouth, I just want to go. And I'm hoping that you are all enjoying this as much as we are, and that you are making some notes, because there is going to be an opportunity for questions. But I think we should also just pause here, because there was a few things that Dr. Mbava had mentioned. And I don't think that the women from Stellenbosch Business School gets enough credit. And when I say the ladies of Stellenbosch Business School, I'm talking about the admin ladies, the coordinators on the programs, the international affairs office. I'm talking about marketing. I'm talking about people that actually do the work here, that walk the walk with women like myself and these three ladies sitting on the stage today. And I think we really just need to pause and take a minute and thank you all for the work that you do, and acknowledge that because of your resilience, because you open the doors for people like us, we get to be here today. I don't think you ladies are ever thanked enough. And then I mean, there's an elephant in this room, and I feel that we need to just pause for a minute and acknowledge the women that are no longer in this room. And we thank you all. There was Dr. Mbava spoke about it when she said that inclusivity is important, right? She also spoke a bit about sustainability, and she came back to the fact that she wants to leave a legacy for other women. And just think about the women in your lives, the women that have held the torch for you before. And remember that you are all strong. When I spoke to my husband last night about resilience, he asked, "No, what is resilience?" And I said, in the past it was always thought of as a characteristic or as a trait, but it's actually a skill. It's like a bone, a muscle that we as women, we flex all the time, right? Because we are constantly adapting. We are constantly evolving. We are constantly having to change things around. I looked at the bios of the women sitting on the stage today. And if you have time later today, just go back online and look at those bios. I'm sure that when Tracey-Lee started out at UCT and she did arts and a bit of psychology at UNISA, and then went to the red and yellow school, she never once thought that because of a retrenchment, because of a change in career trajectory, that she would be the head of marketing at Payflex. And then I'm sure that Dr. Mbava never, ever thought that she was going to fight for people like me at the FFC so that I can have a voice too. So that the children that I teach swimming in Mitchell's Plain can have a voice many years after she's gone. And then I think of Nuraan, like she tried to explain to you her background. This girl comes from a family of hustlers. Right? I was in the Afrikaans class at school, and so poser, we would all go to the draad, right? And at the draad, which was the fence, by the way, there would be an auntie. And this auntie started out selling wind chips, right? And because my mother didn't always pack lunch, that was my lunch. And that is how I met Nuraan, because that was her mother. And that business grew so much. And it planted the seed to her being the entrepreneur that she is today. So while she is fanning her tears away, I'm going to ask her why and how she thinks that Halo Organics has got sustainability embedded in it. Because when you start a business like yours, or a business in our community, we know that we need to build something that's going to last, right? Because guess what, ladies? Failure just is not an option. Yeah. So today when you look in your goodie bags, I'm sure you all have, because this is vrouwmense, then you will see that there'll be some new products that she's launched. Because can we just take a moment? My friend's business is going to be 3 years old on Friday. And so she's going to share with us how sustainability is embedded in the operations and as well as the actual brand of Halo Organics.
I just need a tissue. Tissue, please.
Okay. While she gets the tissue.
I'm so emotional.
Thank you so much. And we can be vulnerable today, am I right, ladies? We have many reasons to be vulnerable. I'm going to go back to a quick one. When I told my husband about resilience, I said, you know, if they're going to hand out awards tomorrow, I'm going to ask them for an award because guess what? I've been married to you for almost 19 years. So if there's anyone that's married for longer than 19 years, we're handing out the awards in the foyer later because you're also resilient, right? Is jy reg nou?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Rushana, for sharing a bit of my childhood life. Yes, it is. And I also stood by that draad after school, after high school. There was no, like my parents didn't have that ability to send me to university or study further and whatever. So I had to go stand by that draad and just, you know, until I was like literally 23, I was standing by that draad selling. I mean, I even saw Lauren grow up in front of me. I'm selling to her by that draad. No, it's just a lot of people, I don't share this with them. I'm so emotional because a lot of people will look at me and they won't know that that's actually where I come from, you know? I got this whole beauty brand and I just want to make people pretty and they just think I fell into that. No, it's not about that. So yeah, I think I was actually, the entrepreneurial spirit that I have does come from my parents. And they taught me how to work with money. They taught me how to get money without asking anybody else. And based on the sustainability factor, apart from the product from the product formulation, from the packaging, and the fast-paced environment that social media put you in today, I really wanted to take it a step back and just to put something out there on the market that is not only going to be good for the consumer, but also good for the environment. And also, I think that is the main core value of how I formulate my products and basically the message I want to send out there. So when you look at Halo Organics, it's I want the women to feel like it's a safe space. So even though you're trying 120 other brands, when you think of Halo, I want it to be a safe space for a woman to come and be like, listen, this stuff is not working for me. I need something that's just going to make me feel nourished. You know what I mean? I just want to feel comfortable, even though I have marks on my face, but I just want to feel comfortable. I just want to be happy. I just want to be me. And that's what I want consumers to feel when they come here. I don't want them to feel overwhelmed. Like it's your choice. If you want the product, you can buy it. If you don't want it, don't buy it. You know what I mean? That type of vibe. You don't need to buy a cleanser, moisturizer, and a mask in order to achieve one thing. If your skin is dry, buy a moisturizer. You know what I'm saying? Take a shower, put on the moisturizer, and there you go. Why machine I have this 10,000 serums? Although I had to obviously think, okay, this is a business that I'm running, I need to make a profit. But I want to do it in a way that aligns with my values also as a person. Because working with so many brands and selling their story, it wasn't sitting right with me, especially like after COVID. I mean, I also got retrenched. From a high-paying job, I also got retrenched, and that's what led me to like, you know what, Nuraan, just start your own thing. Start your own thing, see how far it gets you. Take that 1,800 rand that they gave you now after your retrenchment and start this brand. You're a 1,800 rand. Anyway. And that's, and you know what, I think like if I look back at now that Rushana's mentioning of the chips and the stuff that I used to sell, I mean, I worked very hard for my parents, and my mom them didn't force me like, no, you need to go work now. You got retrenched. You need to find another job. They saw what I was busy with, and yet they encouraged me. You know, they're like, okay, what are you doing now, Nuraan? So I was like, Mommy, I don't know, but I'm gonna try this thing. So let's just see like what happens. If it doesn't work, I can always go back to work. I can always go back to selling those products, you know? Yes. So anyway, it happened in my kitchen. It's literally me putting the stuff into the bottles, putting the labels on. Doing the marketing. I have to wear so many hats. Like I didn't know, but at the same time, it taught me resilience. Like I didn't even get, like that was my resilience. I didn't even know if I'm making a profit, maar ek gee half van die goed weg ook vir die mense. You know what I mean? I didn't even know if I was making a profit, but through people like Rushana, who actually saw what I was doing, and like friends I've asked for guidance. I'm not shy to ask for help. And I've learned a lot. Like, not this business, it's not actually just about me making money, but it's also about me growing as a person. And from the sustainability factor, I think I sustained myself from unemployment, you know what I'm saying? There wasn't that company that was going to put me on the level that I am today, with the knowledge that I have today. You know, I had to work years and prove myself to Lord knows who. And it's a lot. And today I can officially say that this business has not only sustained me or helped, or I'm basically putting a positive message out there to consumers, or trying to at least, to show you, and you don't have to overconsume into all these products to make yourself feel confident. It's a scam. Sorry that you're into marketing, but I'm probably shooting myself in the leg here, but it's yeah. And I thought, Nuraan, are you going to be like a very good business owner? Because you have to put your heart and your mind, and you know what I mean? I have to think heart, I have to think business, I have to think profit, I have to think like, you know, like this customer's willing to buy all my 5 stuff here, and she don't need it. But yeah, ma'am, thank you very much. You know what I mean? So I have to think strategically, and it's hard for me because I'm a very emotional person. So I've learned, like while I was doing the program, like I've learned to basically separate myself, and I've learned to actually, you know, think as a business owner, think as an entrepreneur, but also think as a woman and as a daughter and as a friend and as all of that, you know what I mean? And I think, like, I met a customer here that half of the people that I see, I don't even know who's using my product, because the consumer that we have is such a private person. Like, people that purchase from my brand, she's not that person that's going to show off on social media. She's going to tell her sister, like, listen, I bought this, you should try it. She's that quiet one, you know? So I met somebody here today who actually told me, oh my God, she met me, she actually met the person that's creating these products. And for me, it's a good feeling, like there's actually real people using my products. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I don't wanna, yeah, like I told her, I'm not that person that wants to be seen. I'm not that girl that wants, you know, I want to keep me now quiet because I now own a brand. I'm not there. I don't even want people to know it's me, type of thing. But unfortunately, like I was speaking to Lauren earlier on, she's very good at social media and that kind of thing. So she teaches me a lot also about branding and how to position myself within the market. Although I thought I knew, working with so multiple brands, when it came to my own brand, I still do know where I fit in. And Halo Organics basically falls into the wellness category, which I feel I focus a lot on people's wellness. I focus on your daily lifestyle that you currently have, and how my brand or how my products can actually fit into your lifestyle. It's not about changing your lifestyle. I want to fit into your current lifestyle. And if I can eliminate, or this one product can eliminate 3 or 4 products that you are using, that's what I wanted to do. You know, and still yet keep it affordable, keep it profitable, so that I can make money and that I can employ people, and also, you know, yeah, have that whole system, Payflex, whatever. Yeah, so like I sit here today, and I'm very proud of where I am and how far I've came. We're only 3 years old, but there's so many like businesses and women that actually benefit from my business. Although I don't have any physical staff, my business model is not to make people feel like they have to come into a job 9 to 5, you need to be in that specific place. That's not what I want Hyla to be, because I know how it feels to go to a job, to clock in, to be in the same little block from 9 to 5 every day of your life. So I want to create a company where people have the freedom to work. You can work from home, you can make money. Yes, there will be a whole operation system that has to happen, but I'm trying to build it so that I can have the freedom to walk around, to come sit here and have meetings, maar die besigheid gaat nog aan daar agter. Do you understand? So I want to create that sort of system, you know, because I think like during COVID it opened a lot of my eyes just went open, because I was like, yeah, consumers are even changing, like in terms of the knowledge. Like they will ask me, does this contain vitivaci? And I'm like, ma'am, like they ask me, does this contain parabens or whatever, you know? Then I'm like, no ma'am, it doesn't contain parabens, but I know in the back of my mind it does contain parabens. So the consumer became more wiser, like literally before COVID strike, the consumer became more wiser because they're exposed to all these things on social media. So that for me was like, I couldn't offer people that honesty anymore, because people are becoming more wise, they're becoming more whatever, and the brands and the products that I was selling, it wasn't sitting well with me, you know. I can't lie anymore. I can't tell this person, hey, die goed is as you know. I was like, yo lady, you need to spend that money. So if you look at my product development process, I want products to be clean beauty, and just natural, and something that you can use for every age, man, woman. It doesn't need to be specific gender. And not that, also, I saw a pain. There was like a pain besides me not finding things that I want anymore that's ethical, that sits well with my values, but also we, like speaking from the job market, like how the products that I make actually helps the salon owners in my community, because during COVID, a lot of girls that I know, I'm not sure if you have any daughters that have salons, they were closing, their business were closing because they couldn't have that physical touch anymore with the consumer. So a lot of my friends closed their businesses, and it was just really a sad time. And then when I started Hyla, there was actually 2 of my friends that actually offered to sell my products in their store. And that's how, and I was like, okay guys, you can make a commission and blah, blah, blah. And that's how I grew, and that's how I want to basically put my footprint into the beauty industries, where I can help small businesses, small business owners with working from home to earn an extra income selling my products, and also having an ethical product, and also having something that's more mindful, that's adding value in today's society. Like, she doesn't have to think that if you look at Hyla, you must know it's clean, you must know it's natural, you must know it's something pure. You know what I mean? It's a safe space to go to. Okay. Yeah. So thank you.
I feel like the conversation has gotten more personal, and so now I'm just gonna put it out there, right? We all women, we all vulnerable, we all go through things that sometimes we don't share as easily, and because these ladies are from such diverse backgrounds, I think we should ask this question. Like, I'm going to start with Tracey-Lee, and I'm going to ask you guys to please, ladies, please keep it short, because we want to open the floor up for questions. But I want to take you back to one moment in your experience, one experience, one challenge, one event that had happened to you that shaped you into becoming different, into handling things differently. Yeah. Share that with us. And when you do that, also take time just to tell us what your mindset was in order to change that, so that it doesn't happen again.
Can I get the microphone?
Oh, sorry.
Sure, I kind of feel like there's lots of these little micro moments that shape the way you see things or or the decisions you make. But I think I'll go back to the retrenchment. I think for me that was the biggest game changer in my life. It was probably the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Can you believe it? I still have both my parents, so that I haven't lost them yet. I think that will trump it. But because I never really given too much thought to how my career would progress. Everything was kind of tracking along, and my life was my career. So when all of a sudden the rug is pulled out from beneath you, you have to think very, very quickly about how you're going to do things. And I definitely think it changed my approach to life and approach to, I suppose, the things that are important to me completely. So the decision to do the MBA, I'm sure there are quite a few of you in the room have been part of the school before, otherwise I suppose you wouldn't be here. But there are two camps of MBA people. They're like, no, University of Hard Knocks, University of Life route, that's going to teach you everything, which I agree, like very much like Nuraan, you've gone through the University of Hard Knocks, definitely, and made a huge success of yourself. And then there's the camp that goes, an MBA is really going to be the thing that's the game changer. And then for years I've been like, should I do this thing? Should I not do this thing? I don't know. And then I was changed. Then I had no income and I had no prospects, and I was looking for a job and being rejected day in and day out. I think I probably applied for 5 to 10 jobs every day. I was getting super creative about how to find work. But also, I managed to, the hustle really then becomes real because you don't have food. So you have to pay for your food. So, and rent and to live, and, going back to move in with mom and dad was like, I'll find a way to make things work. And at one point, after a few months, I had 8 different clients. I don't know how this happened. I was doing anything and everything. Legitimately anything and everything. So, doing a little bit of project management here, doing some content creation, doing some marketing strategy here. I was working for a client in St. Lucia in the Caribbean that I'd worked vaguely with them in the past, and they saw I was doing a little bit of consulting on LinkedIn, and it was all happening. My dad even said to me, it's like, this is you, babe. Like, don't go back to the corporate world. Just do this. Because it's obviously working. You were made for this, and I don't love context switching. I think it's quite a difficult thing to work with multiple clients on multiple different kinds of projects. So I did eventually want to go back to the working world, but it was an amazing experience to know that there are a lot of people that have your back. So you're not alone in the world, and I think that you have a lot of kind of guardian angels that you don't really know are there, and when the hits the fan, it's not necessarily going to be as bad as you think it's going to be if you have some kind of faith and if you have that resilience and grit. I don't know if you've, it's a little bit pop-lit, but Angela Duckworth's book, Grit, she talks about kind of the characteristics of survival, especially in the corporate world, and that is, resilience and grit are pretty similar. So that's one thing, is just having kind of unwavering belief and faith that it's all going to turn out okay, but also the ability to do work. So, Nuraan, also you were saying just actually not thinking about the profit too much, just get stuck in and do it, and things then happen, and I think this is the decision to do the MBA, I was like, this is, it's not cheap. I was self-funding, and but I decided like I needed to make myself more marketable. Having gone through a standard kind of university degree honors, a lot of people have that, and it's not necessarily going to set you aside or set you apart. So, I decided to go ahead and do the MBA. Best decision I ever made for myself. I learned an incredible amount, and I think when it comes to an exco position, being able to hold your own and talk to the accountants in their language, it's a great trick. It's a great way to to kind of leverage or to make a name for yourself and leverage the skills that you have to get ahead and make yourself competitive. So I definitely think sometimes the worst things that happen to you in life are actually the best things that happen to you, and it's hard and it's difficult and it's painful and it's not easy. And the old everyone's seen this image with the big circle said, this is your life and this is your comfort zone, and then there's a speck on the outside that says, well, this is where the magic happens. So the magic definitely happens outside of the comfort zone. So yeah, don't shy away from the hard times would be my takeaway there.
Definitely, I think her story kind of echoes with mine as well. If you remember, I had said that I left the corporate world, right? And then after I left the corporate world, I went into the public service. Then whilst I was in the public service, then I decided to pursue my PhD, right? So when I did that, it meant that now I was a full-time student. I got some little funding from the National Research Foundation, which is like a stipend, basically. It's like nothing compared to what I was earning, right? So then I started off now being a student, and I was raising a family. I had kids, I had a partner, I had a mom, I had a family, but I was a student in my 40s. It was a huge life change. So embarking on the PhD itself, it was such a lonely journey, I can't tell you how many times I asked myself, what the hell are you doing? You had a great job, go back to your job. Why are you doing this PhD? What is it gonna do for you? So you want to find out what is impact evaluation, how it's done, and then what, And then I kept asking my supervisor, Dr. Babette Rabi, is it worth it? He said, no, it's worth it. It won't pay off now, but in future it will pay off. Keep going. I used to come here, sit at the library, and I would look at those, those PhD theses, and I'm like, they've done it. Maybe let me just get going, But it's a lonely journey in the sense that, number one, you doubt yourself. Do I have what it takes to get there, right? Secondly, you look up to your supervisor because they have what you don't have. They become your ideal of what is possible, and you trust this person. And I realized that your supervisor can make it or break it for you. If you are doing a PhD, get the right supervisor because they make it or break it for you. So ideally, get a woman. They will work with you. They understand that you have kids to take care of. They understand that, sometimes you won't meet the deadlines, but they will work with you. So that's what Babette did for me. She walked with me on that path. And then after I graduated, she sent me off with a good recommendation to UCT to be a postdoc. Again, another lonely journey where now I have to prove myself that, I am good at what I do. I can teach. I can actually speak to students and all that. I remember there was a professor who took sabbatical, and then I had to teach his class. On the course brochure, it says Professor whoever is teaching this class. So when the students pitches up, they just see this postdoc standing there. And I felt like apologetic, actually, that I'm teaching this class. I'm like, so welcome to your first course. I'm Dr. Mbava, and I'll be teaching you public policy. And by the time you are done with this course, you'll be able to understand public policy. And they just look at me blankly, like, okay. They were like, where is the actual professor? In their minds, not to me, but in their minds. But I can tell you right now, after I finished a whole semester teaching that class, everybody did so well. Everybody there, the reviews I got, I actually believe that I can be a good teacher, a good professor. They said, I never understood this subject the way I did. I understood it. And it's very strange that during that time, it was almost during the COVID time, and many students were very vulnerable. And students, I was able to actually help many students to stay on. because there were so many students who were just dropping out. So I felt that I was at the right place at the right time. But what I wanted to say though is that, yes, I was earning nothing. I was just on a stipend, basically, just earning my postdoc allocation, that's it, nothing. But my expenses, I told myself, you know what, I'm going to live according to my means. And I'm here now, I'm going to embrace where I am now, and maybe somehow there'll be a way out. And you know the way out? It came maybe 2 or 3 years later when I got a call that the president of South Africa has appointed me as the chairperson. I was like, how does God work? This is amazing. You know, I never went for an interview. I don't know how it worked, but I was somehow on the list of people who are appointable. Because what? I trusted in something. I believe that there is going to be a way out. I don't know how many times my mom, and she's deceased now, but she prayed for me. She said, you know what, it's going to work out. God cannot take you from where you were to where you are now without something happening, you know? So the PhD was a life change for me. For many years, there was no real, value that I was getting from it in the sense of monetary value. It was just a title, but there was no money. I was struggling, but I persisted, and I did the best I could do. I was a good teacher. I was a good lecturer at UCT in politics. I was a good lecturer, but I felt like, why did I study my MBA? Where is the value of my MBA? I will get all these newsletters from the business school, and I'll see, wow, they are doing so much work in wine. Wow, they're getting these farms. Why they're doing this? Why Nonochi's doing so much? Tracey-Lee is doing so much. Whoever, they're doing so much. I'm like, why did I get a PhD? Why did I get an MBA? And I'm like living on peanuts. You know what I'm saying? But it's only years later that I realized that it was part of a bigger project. It was taking me somewhere. There was a reason. And I'm thinking now, if I look at my role now, my MBA is coming into the fore in terms of the skills that I'm actually bringing here, the economics, that I learned there, the financial analysis, that I learned in there, people management, leading an organization is coming in there. The PhD is just just an additional, skill. But the real one was, but for me, the real one that really adds value to what I'm doing now is the skills I learned during my MBA. So all I can say is that life, as Tracey-Lee was saying, will take you anywhere. But what you just need to do is to just trust the process. Trust the process. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Take us back to an event, a time, or a challenge that you experienced. What have you learned from it, and what was the mindset that got you out of that situation?
Yeah. Okay, I'm sitting amongst quiet people here, no? Like the real people. I think there's not anything specific. I say every day for me as an entrepreneur, every day something happens. Whether it be a bad review, whether it be something that's doesn't go my way. It's very hard, like running a business and also trying to be your own person. I think I often get negativity from even the closest people that I have. And for me, that is, I just have to remind myself all the time the reason why I started this and what it is actually what is my end goal here. Even though people would say, nah, your products are not good, or look at you're working from home in a kitchen or whatever. I heard all those things like, no, we don't want to buy your stuff. And I was just like, anyway, it made me feel bad. But at the same time, I was just like, you are the people that doesn't even have your own business. Sorry to say, you know what I mean? But you don't even have your own business. I'm at least trying to basically do my own thing here. You don't know my financial situation. And that just kept me like going all the time. Like even if I get bad reviews about my products, I always try to turn it into a positive and see like how can I better myself? How can I, you know, bring something out that's going to satisfy me and also the consumer. And something that really changed me was I come from such a family that's very like, I wouldn't say they're not educated, but they don't have that sort of like vibe that they can brush off onto me. So for me, like stepping into a building like this was like a very big, it was a very big achievement. Like I'm the first one in my family to actually sit on the green chair, or, you know what I mean? Like with the whole mic in my hand, I'm like, what's the girl here? Yeah, like I still try to be like this humble person, and there's times where I need to also level up and, you know, be that professional person. So yeah, like with my MBA, which I don't have, so my MBA is like the madness behind my ambition. It's basically the madness behind my ambition is, it's not that I want to prove a point maybe to those people that always put me down in my working career, but like today I can actually say like those people that I've worked for, I looked up to all those years, most of them are coming to me and asking for a space in my community or in the space where I am. Like I can promise you, like they will see a picture of me sitting here, they will be thinking, what is Nuraan doing? You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's a big flex in a way, because like, yeah, for me it's like I want to tell him, I told you so. I told you. I wasn't just, you know, why didn't you give me that opportunity? Why didn't you? Kijk, waar zit ik nou? With the dinges here from the Ramaphosa, and you know what I mean? Rushana, I'm just real here. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you so much, Nuraan. I hope that there are questions from the floor, and so I'm going to pass on the microphone, or if you would like to just put your hand up, and I'm happy to come to you. Of course, Samantha.
Huh? Ja, ik kan niet zo lang zitten met boeken nie. I can't.
Online, and I checked out your products, you know, it's difficult to just switch products because you're quite used to what you're using and stuff, and sometimes you're afraid as well.
Yes.
And to enter like a product for me, it's like entering a new relationship again.
Of course.
Because I've got this long-term relationship already.
Yes.
So my question to you is, because I couldn't see on your site that you have like a sample pack that a person can purchase.
Okay.
Don't you have that? No?
No, so how we do it is to create, actually for me to create a sample is a lot more expensive than creating the actual product. Ja, ek het ook my tyd geleer wat ek nou ding is. Back then I used to give samples away for free. So now I understand the concept behind the whole sampling situation. It's a lot more money. So whenever I launch a new product, like I was just explaining to these ladies, all you ladies have a product in your bag, which is a new launch of mine that's not out yet on the market. But prior to that, there were samples given out. So unfortunately, like I do sampling certain times of the year, but I can't always keep it as a fixed, you know, purchasing product on the, because you're going to pay a lot more money than an actual product. But I can look into that if you want to.
Because it's not, I'm not speaking about a free sample. I mean like.
Yes, I know, like the travel sizes. So you're going to pay a lot more money than the actual, that's what I'm saying. Because it's like, I have to think of, it's not that it's a no, but I have trialed it already, and people is like, why must I pay so much for the 30 ml where I can just buy the bigger one and it's maybe like 80 Rand more. You know, you get what I'm saying.
That makes sense.
And also, I want to also eliminate that sampling with the packaging because you people throw it away and you don't think of the amount of plastic in the goodies, man. You know what I mean? What is doing with the pots? Yeah. Because we need to make things sustainable here. So if you'd like a sample of anything, you can message me. Or if you're not sure what to buy, there is a free skincare quiz that you can take, and if based on your concern and your lifestyle and that, you can do the quiz and it will just shoot out, basically give you an idea of what will be suitable for you.
Thank you, Nuraan.
You're welcome.
And there's Tracey-Lee. Okay. Tracey-Lee. There's another client.
Yeah.
You need to definitely have a conversation. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Next questions. This lady that was writing a book. The lady that was writing a book. No. She was writing a book. I know she's got a question.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I've got a question for Tracey-Lee. I think you mentioned that you are part of the SGBs. I'm not sure. I think it's a community. So, yeah, I don't want to be emotional. So, I'm currently doing my MCOM at UWC, and I've got ambitions of doing an MBA. And I think I want to do it here. So I want to know from you, do you guys have an ecosystem whereby people who are aspiring to go into MBA can, build relationships with you, just to get more insight on what to expect? Because I know that if I had a choice, I was just going to drop everything right now and just go full time for the MBA. But finances is a hurdle for me right now. But I don't want finances to stop my journey. I would like to expose myself into something that can better prepare me to tap into that. So how do I, build relationships with you guys?
So I think the first thing I would recommend is actually talking to the faculty members, because I just happen to be part of one club, and the club that I was involved in, I mean, it was while I was a student here, and I loved it so much, and I stuck around for another 2 years doing and I think you're here to the back. She was the chair last year, and she's still here. So there's obviously something that the faculty is doing right to keep us all linked to the school. But I think that besides that, I think for me, my experience with my MBA was very much, I didn't know what to expect, and I went into an MBA with trepidation, going, is this going to be the magic one that everybody says it's going to be, or is this going to be 2 years and I'm going to know what I knew before, maybe a little bit more? And I was so happy. It did so much for my life, but I worked it. I worked at MBA. I'm on like LinkedIn, and I like to connect in different communities. So the consulting club is just one thing I like to do, but I'll often go to kind of industry events and just, chat to people. And I mean, I suppose that's also maybe a personality thing, but I like to get involved in the marketing community, get involved in the fintech community, get involved in the university community. And it can be very tiring, but if you have the energy to just connect with people and keep in touch with them online and, find out what's going on, I think that's your best bet in trying to really sink your teeth more into what the world of an MBA can do for you. But in terms of the formal things, I know sometimes like there's a wisdom and wine. Everybody's there for the wine. But and I suppose the wisdom as well. But often they will allow friends or partners to attend as well, and then you can meet the other people that have done an MBA before, and also the other there's consulting clubs, but there are other like future studies clubs and that sort of thing. If you know people that have done those, try and go to some of those events with them. I know Amelia Gibson, she's one of the members of the consulting club. Her husband often comes with, and we kind of know him now, and he knows a lot about what the MBA entails and that sort of thing. So I would say just try and integrate a little bit with the community that way.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you for your question. I'm just going to latch onto that. The university, the alumni office also has quite a few events that you can sign up to. If you are a partner or a friend of someone that has been at the university, it sometimes does help you get through the door. I have done my MBA here as well, and I would definitely recommend that you keep looking into it and do whatever you need to do to pursue it. Are there any other questions? I feel like the ladies here have been quiet. And so I want to invite you, even if it's just a comment, even if you just want to share what it's been like to listen to the incredible women here today, please feel free to put your hand up and I can come over and pass you a microphone. I really want to include you and I want to know what it's been, what you've been feeling like being here today. No questions? Oh, love that. Thank you.
Thanks, Rushana. I would just want to say to this lady, woman, please connect with us. We would really like to put you in. And on socials as well, there's so many graduates and MBA graduates tell their stories. And connect with the alumni office. So there's many MBA students or graduates that mentor. And you can put you into contact with them. What I want to say is I would like the whole audience to stand up and give these women and you a hand because you are so inspiring. Everything you do